I'm Colonel Frank Milstead, the Director of the Arizona Department of Public Safety. Distracted driving, that's a term of our time. As cars become more sophisticated, as police vehicles become more cramped with electronic devices, there's many more opportunities for us to bring our eyes away from the roadway and actually not pay attention to what's going on in front of us and get distracted on things going on inside the car. We all see it as we drive. We see others not paying attention. We see texting, surfing, videos, all kinds of things that happen while people should just be driving the car. Take a little extra time, be a little more cognizant of what is going on inside your car so it doesn't distract you. Know what you're going to do before you get in the vehicle. Be prepared to drive the roadways with as much safety as possible. In Arizona, we have limited roadways. They do get clogged up. There is congestion. We have horrific collisions that occur and block our roadways so we, the commuting public, cannot get from point A to point B in an expedient manner. But it's really on all of us. It's not only impaired driving, it's distracted driving. So do your best to keep your eyes on the roadway, look ahead, be aware of your surroundings, and don't let those things that are inside your car impair your ability to drive. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you on the roadway.
Distracted driving is defined as any activity that could divert a person's attention away from the primary task of driving. Civilian driving and law enforcement driving present challenges that are not distinctly unique from each other. Some examples of distracted driving are eating while driving, grooming while driving, reading and driving, adjusting the radio, and passengers in the vehicle. Additional distractions include operating a mobile data computer, a police radio, a cell phone, texting, and prisoners in the vehicle. All drivers experience distractions in different driving environments that challenge their abilities to safely operate a vehicle. There are 3 types of driving distractions. 1. Visual distractions. 2. Manual distractions. 3. Cognitive distractions. Visual distractions result in a driver's eyes off the road. Manual distractions results in a driver's hands off the wheel. And cognitive distractions take a driver's mind off what they are doing.
Think you know all about distracted driving. Think again. Your eyes are on the road, your hands on the wheel, but your brain isn't geared on driving. So when you're looking at something straight in front of you, you should be able to see it. But you don't. It's just like having tunnel vision behind the wheel. It's because you are cognitively distracted. AAA and the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety partnered with mental distraction expert Dr. David Strayer and his team at the University of Utah to undertake a landmark research project that challenges the current mindset about distracted driving. Building upon previous visual and manual distraction research and 5 decades of aviation psychology looking at pilot distraction, this groundbreaking study focuses on mental distractions, also known as cognitive distraction. Using brain-based metrics, driving simulators, and a first-of-its-kind instrumented vehicle, participants were studied as they engaged in various non-driving behaviors, from listening to the radio or talking on a mobile phone to using voice-activated dashboard apps. With these findings, researchers developed a ranking order for distraction similar to the 5-category rating system used for hurricanes. The study offers evidence that you're not necessarily safer just because your eyes are on the road and your hands on the wheel, if your brain isn't geared on driving.
When you're driving down the road, the world is full of all of this visual information, and we have this illusion that we're attending to everything.
People drive thousands of miles every day. We're behind the wheel for hours. And a lot of times we try and alleviate boredom by trying to do all these other kinds of activities. As a consequence of that, we don't actually give driving due diligence in terms of what our responsibilities are to operate a very heavy, expensive piece of equipment without causing harm.
So there's this notion that if our eyes are on the road and our hands are on the wheel, then we're safe drivers. So we wanted to kind of challenge that notion and begin to explore that notion.
The most significant thing about this research is that it focuses specifically on cognitive distraction, which is often ignored.
It's the types of attention diversions that are all in your head.
You're looking at it, you're looking straight ahead. You should be able to see it, but you're not.
Cameras mounted inside the vehicle were used to test the ability to see hazards in the driving environment by tracking eye and head movement. This light task, a state-of-the-art detection response task, or DRT, was utilized to record reaction time. Drivers were to ignore the red light and then trigger a switch when presented with the green light.
But what we're doing in this study that's unique is we're taking 8 different tasks and we're measuring driver behavior, driver performance, while people are doing these very different tasks in a way that hasn't been done before.
Plus 4 equals 8.
When we're doing the studies, if the green light comes on and people don't respond to it because they haven't seen it, that's a potential hazard.
It's really kind of a surrogate for the types of visual information that people are missing all the time in the driving environment.
Yeah, like last night I was at the park.
When people engage in more and more difficult tasks, that they tend to miss more and more of those lights.
It could easily be a pedestrian, it could be another car, and so those misses are extremely problematic.
Rather than trying to anticipate the environment, they may not scan for the threat of a pedestrian in a crosswalk, but respond when that pedestrian does appear, if they do indeed see that pedestrian. We found that interacting with this speech-to-text system delayed response time to the DRT device more than any of the other conditions.
I think it suggests that trying to understand cognitive distraction really does require kind of a scientific effort, and that just using intuitions isn't necessarily sufficient. To the extent that you think distracted driving is a problem now, we expect that it's likely to get much worse with the kinds of things that are coming down the road, so to speak. The science will also help guide some public policy so that we don't design technology that goes into cars that would be unsafe to use. I'm hopeful that as this dialogue progresses, we start to actually say that, you know what, we need to reel in some of these behaviors that are just unsafe and not become totally driven by whatever device is ringing or shining or kind of trying to compete with attention. Some combination of legislation, education, and personal responsibility is really what's necessary in order to really get people to have a safe driving culture.
Distracted driving is a large part of society's driving behavior, making it the #1 safety priority of the U.S. Department of Transportation because it is so significant in driving safety. Many people ask, why doesn't the U.S. Department of Transportation make distracted driving illegal nationally? by creating standard legislation governing all states. The reason is, passenger car driving behavior falls under the jurisdiction of the individual states, so the U.S. DOT cannot ban it. Congress has considered a number of laws to prevent distracted driving, but nothing has passed yet. However, many states have passed tough laws against texting, talking on a cell phone, and other distractions. You can visit the state laws link on the distraction.gov webpage to learn more about the distracted driving laws passed into legislation in each state. Additional distracted driving stats. Did you know that at any given moment during daylight hours, over 660,000 vehicles are being driven by someone using a handheld cell phone? Distracted driving delays a driver's reaction time equaling that of a 0.08% BAC. All drivers show some signs of impairment at a 0.08 BAC. Sending or receiving a text takes a driver's eyes from the road for an average of 4.6 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, this equals driving the length of an entire football field, blind. When traveling in a vehicle at 55 miles per hour, 3 seconds of looking at a device equals a car moving 250 feet down the road, almost one football field. Depending on a driver's reaction time, it takes almost another 300 feet to stop the vehicle, for a total of 550 feet traveled. Engaging in a visual manual subtask, such as reaching for a phone, dialing and texting, associated with the use of handheld phones and other portable devices, increase the risk of getting into a crash by 3 times. 77% of drivers reported talking on a cell phone while driving. Driving while using a cell phone reduces the amount of brain activity associated with driving by 37%. In 2012, 3,328 people were killed in crashes involving a distracted driver, and an estimated additional 421,000 were injured in motor vehicle crashes involving a distracted driver.
In 500 meters, turn right.